So last week we had a fairly inspirational show about having insane belief. We got a lot of comments and emails on it, and we greatly appreciate the kind words. Thank you very much. I hope last week's show helps you and your business moving forward as much as it's helped mine. Now this week, however, we're going to change the pace a little bit. That's what we do here at The Art Resource. We keep you on your toes, we keep you informed, educated, and entertained. Now this week, it's informed, and not the greatest news, but nonetheless, let's get into it.
This week, we found some startling facts that will affect us all moving forward into what we think will be a slower real estate market in 2014.
As the show title says, we feel it's one of the most disturbing facts about the U.S. economy today. What is it?
Household income, or the lack thereof.
Now, income is important to all of us. We obviously need income, but we also need other people to have income so we can obviously buy and sell houses. So this is kind of a big deal and worth discussing.
Did you know the median income in this country fell to levels not seen since 1996? Income levels are worse off than they were when we got into this recession. The inflation-adjusted median income is now just over $51,000. We showed a graph like this one a few weeks back and pointed to the fact that the last time income levels were on the drop and at this level was 1989.
Now remember, median income includes all sources of income, including multiple wage earners. The median annual wage is much lower at $27,000 a year. Big difference and worth pointing out.
You know what else is worth pointing out? Following the previous 1990s recession, income levels rose 15%. Not so much this time around.
Now what's the difference in 2013? What changed? Any guesses? My guess, and it's followed up by facts, is this time around, we still have 11 million people unemployed.
This gives big and small business the upper hand.
Think about it. If you owned one of these large businesses right now, are you really feeling the pressure to pay your workers more right now? Are you having to sit down and entertain questions about raises? Most likely not, and if you are, you're most likely looking at the pool of 11 million people behind that person asking for a raise and thinking to yourself, man, I could probably replace this guy for much cheaper than what I'm paying him now.
This gives big business the upper hand and has resulted in a pay decrease in hourly wages according to the Labor Department. They say since the end of the recession, June of 2009, hourly pay for the private sector has dropped from a whopping $8.85 an hour to now only $8.77 an hour.
Not a huge drop, but remember, income levels and employment historically spike after recession, not decrease.
We should be seeing an increase in the median income and hourly wages if we're out of the recession.
Let's put this into perspective even more. This has all happened despite rising home prices, despite record highs in the stock market, and despite, worst of all, record corporate profits. Now, if you judge all of our success basically off of those last three things, you would think all is hunky-dory. Employment's good and the people are making money. But as we just talked about, they aren't. What gives? Somebody's got to be making money.
And if you watch our show, you already know who it is. That's right, the top of the house, the top 1%. Get this, 95% of the income gains we just talked about have gone to the top 1% of Americans. That's insane, and it's way out of whack, and certainly not sustainable for the rest of us.
Sure, the top 1% typically fares better than the 99%, but not at these levels. For instance, the top 1% snagged only 45% of the income gains following the 1991 recession, and only 65% of the income following the 2001 recession. And that's not the end of it. We'll leave you with some crazy facts.
The richest 10% of households own 90% of the stock, and so have been the primary beneficiaries of the market's 150% rebound since the bottom of March 2009.
Also, the top 1% of wage earners earned almost 20% of all U.S. income last year. That's the biggest percentage since 1928. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't like the market that I'm living and raising my family in being compared to some of the darkest times in America.
1929! We're talking about levels not seen since the Great Depression. All of this is obviously putting pressure on the average American family.
If you think these numbers are way out of whack and indeed the most disturbing facts about the U.S. economy, then please share this with your friends and family. These numbers are crazy and we need to get this thing figured out sooner rather than later.
Share, share, share. We need to get the word out so we address the problem moving forward.
Even you 1%ers, you may be high on the hog now, but these numbers aren't sustainable, and if the 99% falls, you will too. See you guys next week.